cool. I love Silver Pine. And then for some reason they did destroy the hue, the kind of color of Silver Pine with Cataclysm. You know, like this is super dark, super cool. I love it. But in Cataclysm, like when you go there, it's like that they took it through a filter, you know, through an Instagram filter, and it's instead of being this dark, it has like a purplish color, purplish hue to it. I hate it, actually. Yeah, I still don't know why they did that. I think, by the way, that Cataclysm overall was a mistake. Overall, it was a huge mistake. Like, I get that they wanted to kind of revamp everything so that they could introduce flying to the old world. But the biggest problem with Cataclysm was they turned timeless zones into ones that were stuck in one particular point in time, right? So if you look at this zone, it's timeless. Elven Forest is timeless. Duskwood, timeless. Westfall, timeless. Right? Redridge, timeless. Absolutely amazing. If you look at what they did to it in Cataclysm, and you actually go through the quests there, then Westfall, for example, well, first of all, is some bloody elemental cyclone around that area, which I don't know how that makes any sense. It feels so out of place. And if you do all the quests, there's some kind of a peasants revolt or whatever, you know, some... I can't remember the story exactly, right? But it ends up in a state where Sentinel Hill is on fire. And then you go there like 10 years later, 15 years later, by the way, and it's still on fucking fire. And it hasn't been resolved in any way. And now that zone is, like, it's gone, right? Like, from a feeling perspective. Yeah, if you go there on my main, it's still on fire. Same, by the way, with Redridge. There's a quest line where you blow up the orc place. And there's a crater that remains after that bomb. And 15 years later, the crater's still there. Smoke is still coming out of the crater. So it's ridiculous. And then you have Ashenvale, well, it's a forest, and in the middle of the forest you have a volcano. So out of place. I mean, they made a huge mistake with Cataclysm. Like, the only change that made a zone for the better, I think, is in Blasted Lands. Because Cataclysm... I remember looking at this screenshot when Cataclysm was first introduced. And there was this Worgen settlement around here somewhere. I forgot what it's called, but it doesn't matter. But at the same time, they introduced the new water that is also now in the classic client. And I remember, goddamn, that looks so cool with the water and just the ambience of that. So that's a W, but rest of the changes were mostly else, like splitting Strangleton Vale into having this fucking whirlpool in the middle, absolutely destroying Darkshore. Although the quest flow in Darkshore is better in Cataclysm, I will admit that, but it's just visually destroying the zone so much. I don't know. Of course, Thousand Needles completely flooding it. Like, what the hell? Shimmering Floods is one of the best questing zones. I think they need it's been 15 years. I think it's about time to do a Cataclysm 2.0 where they kind of fix the old world. They need an old world expansion now, which I don't know when it's gonna happen, but in this current 3 expansion World Soul Saga, apparently in the 3rd expansion, so we're the first expansion in now. Then after this one, it's Midnight, and then after that, it's the Last Titan. And apparently in Last Titan, we're going back to Northrend. And I remember Chris Metzen saying at BlizzCon that if they do this right, basically this whole saga is gonna set up the story of WoW for the next 20 years. So I hope the first thing they do after that, they take a new look at the old world and they fix what they screwed up so badly in Cataclysm. All right. Anyway, I'm tanking here.